Good evening from Vegas, our last evening of this great year, 2022. And an update just hit about an hour ago. Trey Lance needed second ankle surgery. The 49ers actually announced this themselves. He underwent it yesterday on December 30th. And here's the announcement and explanation from the San Francisco 49ers. I'm just going to read through it and some of the key details here. Quarterback Trey Lance underwent successful surgery on his right ankle yesterday. Obviously, that was the one that he shattered in week 2 against the Seattle Seahawks. The second procedure was performed to remove hardware that was inserted during the initial surgery back in September. Due to the location of the fracture, the required hardware placement was close to a tendon in Lance's ankle. During the rehab process, the close proximity proved to cause irritation in his ankle. So after consulting with multiple experts, the decision was made to have the hardware removed to prevent future issues in Lance's ankle. And then the final line, Lance will continue his rehab process and is expected to make a full recovery and return for OTAs. So what does this mean? Well, it means that this is indeed a setback. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. He had to have second surgery. You don't want to have second surgery. But Trey Lance is still expected to be back in time for OTAs. So the only thing timeline-wise that this affects is the fantasy that some people had that Trey Lance would be back this year. That was never the case. In reality, the 49ers had long maintained that Trey Lance was done for the season. The IR situation dictated that as well. They only have one return to play designation left of the 8 that they began with, and that's almost certainly going to be used for Elijah Mitchell. They did not plan to ever use it for Trey Lance. And there's a reason why Jimmy Garoppolo is not on IR, because they actually want to bring him back this year, unlike Trey Lance. Trey Lance needs to fully heal from this ankle issue. They did put that piece of hardware in there in September. It was starting to cause irritation. So it did necessitate a second surgery, which is by definition a setback. But he will be ready for OTAs. Will he be fully ready for OTAs? I remember when Dak Prescott shattered his ankle, he also had to have a second surgery. Took it a little easier during his first offseason program. And the bad news for Trey Lance is if he has to take it a little bit easier during his offseason program, well, the 49ers have another quarterback under contract, the young guy, Brock Purdy, who's obviously their starter right now. And that would give Purdy the de facto top position over Trey Lance, obviously, in the offseason if Purdy is able to be full go and Lance is not. But I think this is something that will develop organically, and the 49ers need to live in the here and now. The here and now is in Vegas this weekend against Arizona next weekend, and then throughout the playoffs. Trey Lance is not part of that story for the 49ers. Brock Purdy is. Jimmy Garoppolo might be. Those are the two quarterbacks that comprise the 49ers QB room depth at the moment. And we're going to move forward seeing what they can do with those two guys. And then we can turn the page to the offseason to see what the deal with Trey Lance will be. But that second surgery obviously does put some murkiness into what he might be able to do, especially early in this coming offseason. All right, that is the update. Check out the other video. We went to the hockey game here today in Vegas. It was a really good one. Went into overtime. Nashville tied it with, I think, 4.3 seconds to go. Prediction for 49ers Raiders is in that video. Everybody, Happy New Year. Stay safe tonight and take care.